All right, let's jump right into this explainer on the massive 2026 World Cup. Because seriously, we are looking at the biggest sporting event in human history. This upcoming tournament, it's got a brand new format, way more teams, a lot more drama, and somehow even more heartbreaking ways to get sent home before you ever really had a chance. So today, we're going to break down the brutal month-long journey a team has to survive to actually lift that legendary trophy, literally from the very first qualifier all the way to the final whistle.
Just wrap your head around this scale for a second. 48 teams, 64 matches, and just one trophy. Only one country gets to lift it. The sheer size of this thing is staggering. The competition is bigger than it's ever been, which naturally means the path to victory is longer and way more complex. Honestly, you might be a little shocked at just how incredibly hard it is to navigate this field.
So, here's the ultimate survival gauntlet we'll be looking at today. Step 1. Surviving qualification. Step 2, the group stage filter. Step 3, the knockout round gauntlet. Step 4, the final match. And finally, Step 5, the actual winning formula. Let's get into it.
Starting off with Step 1, survive qualification. You know, before a team can even let themselves dream of holding that trophy, they have to survive a ruthless 3-year qualification process across their own continents.
In theory, you'd think for the heavyweight teams, it's basically just paperwork, right? You just show up, win your games, punch your ticket. But in practice, man, qualification is where reputations go to die. Just look at 4-time World Cup champion Italy. They missed the 2018 tournament entirely. They were literally sitting at home watching it on TV like the rest of us. Even with 48 spots up for grabs in 2026, the competition just to get your foot in the door is absolutely ruthless. The Giants can and absolutely will fall.
Which brings us to Step 2, the group stage filter. Once you actually make it to the tournament, the real chaos begins. In the group stage, every single point is absolutely crucial because your World Cup dreams come with a very strict expiration date here.
The math with this new format gets a little tricky. It's like a giant puzzle. We've got 12 groups of 4. Now, the top 2 teams from each group automatically advance, which is standard. But there's a lifeline now. 8 best third-place wildcard spots are also up for grabs. Sounds like an easy squeeze, right? Well, it's not. It's totally possible to beat 2 teams and still go home because of tight goal differentials, or, conversely, you could draw all 3 of your games and somehow sneak through. It's wild.
And then you have to factor in the draw itself. A lot of that comes down to pure luck based on seeding and geography. Getting a bad draw into what fans call a group of death can end a team's hopes literally right out of the gate. You could be a genuinely fantastic team, but if you land in a group with 3 other genuinely fantastic teams, you might get knocked out before the rest of the world is even paying attention. Teams like Portugal and Belgium know this heartbreak all too well. Bad luck here can essentially end your World Cup before it even really begins.
But let's say you survive the groups. Now you're entering Step 3, the knockout round gauntlet. This is a brand new, incredibly unforgiving stage where the safety net is completely gone. 0 second chances.
For the first time ever, teams are facing a massive gauntlet that kicks off at the round of 32. That's 16 one-off matches, just to cut the field in half. You win there, you move to the round of 16, then the quarterfinals, then the semifinals. So to win the whole thing now, a team might have to play up to 8 grueling do-or-die matches. One single mistake, one bad bounce of the ball, and you're packing your bags.
And what happens when these teams are pushed to the absolute brink? If a knockout game is tied after 90 minutes, we go to extra time. Still tied? Then we enter what is easily the most stressful 7 minutes in all of sport. Penalty kicks. Think about it. It's just a goalkeeper, a ball, and the crushing weight of an entire nation resting squarely on one player's shoulders. On paper, the best team should win these, but in reality, entire nations crumble under that anxiety. Except, maybe Germany, who always seems to find a way to be incredibly clinical while everyone else's knees are shaking.
As you drag yourself deeper into this gauntlet, a silent killer takes over. Immense physical and mental fatigue. By the time you hit the semifinals, you have to remember that these top players are already carrying 40-plus games of intense club football in their legs, and that was before this tournament even kicked off. This is exactly why the highly organized, disciplined, hard-to-break-down teams so often outlast the flashy, fan-favorite squads. They might not always play the prettiest football, but their sheer discipline keeps them alive when the exhaustion really sets in.
And that brutal funnel leads right here. Step 4, the final match. This is the ultimate destination of this entire month-long marathon, set for July 19th at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. Literally the biggest stage on Earth. For 90 minutes, everything is on the line. You either become immortal or you become a footnote. If you win, your nation remembers it forever. Every single player on that squad becomes an absolute legend. Captains get statues built in their honor, and kids who haven't even been born yet will grow up watching highlights of that very game. But if you lose, oh, it haunts you forever. Just ask the Netherlands. They've suffered through 3 separate finals and still have 0 trophies to show for it. It's just a razor-thin line between ultimate glory and eternal regret.
So what does it actually take? Let's break down Step 5, the winning formula required to survive this marathon and claim the ultimate prize.
Winning it all demands a very specific, almost perfect blend of ingredients. First off, you need a great goalkeeper to bail you out when things go wrong, and a cold, clinical striker to finish off those rare chances you get. On top of that, you absolutely need tactical flexibility, because your manager has to outsmart coaches from completely different footballing cultures every few days. You need deep squad fitness and perfect team harmony to push through the fatigue. And honestly, you need a little bit of luck. A penalty that deflects off the post instead of going in, a favorable referee's call, or just a lucky draw that keeps you away from a powerhouse into the later rounds.
What's really fascinating, though, is how sometimes all these ingredients magically align for the underdog. We've absolutely seen smaller nations defy the odds before. Remember South Korea fighting their way to the semifinals on home soil back in 2002? Or tiny Croatia battling all the way to the 2018 final? The golden rule of tournaments is this: bigger formats create bigger upsets. By adding more teams and more knockout rounds, the door is kicked wide open for the unexpected.
Surviving the brutal qualifiers, navigating those high-pressure groups, and somehow holding your nerve through up to 8 do-or-die knockout matches against the world's best, it's nearly impossible, but somebody is going to do it. So as we wrap up this explainer, we have to ask, with 48 teams and this massive brand-new format, does this edition finally give a dark horse their best ever shot at lifting the trophy?